Influenza, commonly known as the flu, is a disease caused by the influenza virus. Symptoms can be mild to severe. The most common symptoms include a high fever, runny nose, sore throat, muscle pains, headaches, coughing, and fatigue. 3 types of influenza affect people. Usually the virus is spread through the air from cough or sneeze. This is believed to occur mostly over relatively short distance. It can also be spread by touching surfaces contaminated by the virus and then touches the mouth or eyes. A person may be infected to others both before and during the time they are sick. The infection may be confirmed by testing the throat, sputum, or nose for the virus. Approximately 33% of people with influenza are asymptomatic. Symptoms of influenza can start quite suddenly 1 or 2 days after infection. Usually the first symptoms are chills or a chilly sensation, but fever is also common early in the infection, with body temperature running from 38 to 39 degrees. Symptoms of influenza may include cough, nasal congestion, runny nose, sneezing, body ache, fatigue, headache, watery eyes.
Today, we have here Dr. Ariana spreading disease caused by viruses and winner of 2014 Nobel Prize in Medicine, who is going to talk about some facts of flu. Hi, doctor, how are you?
Hi, fine, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Well, as we know, flu is one of the well-known diseases of all time. Throughout history, there have been a lot of epidemics worldwide, which have cost many human lives. To start talking about influenza, we have to know first how to differentiate it from a normal cold. What are the differences between influenza and the common cold?
Well, it can be difficult to distinguish between a common cold and influenza in the early stages of these infections, but a flu can be identified with a high fever, with a sudden onset and extreme fatigue. Influenza is a mixture of symptoms of common cold and headache and body ache.
When does they appear? How are they caused?
These symptoms typically begin 2 days after exposure to the virus and most last less than a week. The cold, however, may last for more than 2 weeks. In children, there may be retching and vomiting, but these are not common in adults.
Why is it recommended to take an injection against flu yearly?
Yearly vaccinations against influenza is recommended by the World Health Organization in those high risk. The injection is usually effective against 3 or 4 types of flu. It is usually well tolerated. An injection, however, made for 1 year may not be useful in the following year, since the virus evolves rapidly.
Influenza spreads around the world in a yearly outbreak, resulting in about 3 to 5 cases of severe illness and about 250,000 deaths. In the northern and southern parts of the world, outbreaks occur mainly in winter, while in areas around the equator, outbreaks may occur at any time of the year. Death occurs mostly in the young, the old, and those with other health problems. Larger outbreaks, known as pandemics, are less frequent. In the 20th century, 3 influenza pandemics occurred: Spanish influenza in 1918 and other big outbreak. It resulted in more than 1 million deaths.
To prevent the spread of influenza, we know reasonably effective ways to reduce the transmission of this illness, which include good personal health and hygiene habits such as not touching your eyes, nose or mouth, frequent hand washing with soap and water or with alcohol, covering calves and knees, staying home yourself if you are sick, wearing a surgical mask, avoiding close contact with sick people, sanitizing common surfaces with alcohol, for example. Doctors have specific prescriptions for those who have flu, which include painkillers, antihistamines, decongestants, and antitussives.